Yes, my camera is out, my lights are out, please don't die of shock. I've just actually managed to squeeze some filming time into the day, hooray! So before we start properly, a couple of people have asked me how I am, which is really nice of you, and the short answer is that my GP surgery still won't refer me for further tests, so I guess really the only news is that there is no news. You can't read all about it! Because there's no news, get it? I have an appointment in a couple of weeks to see if my iron levels have gone up at all. I really hope they have, but yeah, other than that, I'm still clueless as to why I'm so iron deficient. The only thing I've discovered is that I've apparently been iron deficient for 3 years. Yay me. The thing is, like anyone facing a health issue and like anyone who is tiny bit dramatic, I have found myself thinking a lot about my life in the last few weeks and wondering, gosh, if anything happened to me, like, have I achieved all the things I wanted to achieve, and have I, left what I would like to leave in the world? And, that's a dangerous topic of thought to go down because, for most of us, the answer might be no. And there was a point where I started thinking about all the things that when I was younger, say in my late teens or very early 20s, the things I thought I would have done with my life by the time I was in my 40s, or the things I thought I would have by the time I was in my 40s, and I have none of them. It's weird how having a health thing going on makes you look at things differently, because once upon a time, I might have looked at all the things I don't have in my life and been a bit down about it, but now I look at the things I don't have and balance it out with the stuff that I do. It leads to a much healthier brain. So what were these things that I thought I would have or I would have achieved by the time I was in my 40s? Well, let's start with the fairly obvious one. Now, when I was in my late teens / early 20s, I assumed I would meet the man of my dreams and become his bride. Then in my 30s, I realised that actually, when it comes to falling in love, gender is completely irrelevant for me, and therefore it didn't matter whether I ended up with a husband or a wife. But I definitely did think I would get married. Turns out for me, bisexuality just means being unappealing to both men and women. I am a soppy old romantic. I love. And I would have loved to have gotten married. I'm kind of old-fashioned in as much as I've just got this really romantic notion that it would be wonderful to have someone be like, Emma, you are the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. You are somebody that I cannot be without. I just want it to be you and me against the world forever. That to me is like just... thanks. Life can be really long and life can be very difficult, and it's really nice to imagine that you would have a partner to go through life with. But I'm no longer in a place where I'm so old-fashioned that I believe the only way you can have that partner to go through life with is by them being a spouse, or even a romantic partner at all. Going through life with somebody by your side can mean that you have a really close family member who you do everything with. It can mean that you've got a best friend that is always there for you and who you end up deciding, do you know what, let's just live together. It can be a platonic life partner. It doesn't have to be this romantic partner, and I think societally we put so much stock into we must pair everyone up, everybody must have a love partner, and if you don't there's something weird about you. Not everyone finds someone and not everybody wants to find someone. So I've reached a point where yes, I would have loved to have gotten married because I love weddings, I love the idea of wearing a really nice dress. I'm very girly, okay? And I do, in a very old-fashioned way, love that idea, like I said, of standing up in front of everyone who means something to you and being like, this is my person. This is the person I want to spend forever with. They're going to be by my side. We're going to go through life together. And there's just something really beautiful about that in my eyes. But like I said, I genuinely don't think that you have to have a romantic partner to have someone who you go through life with by your side, who is your person. It can be, like I said, a platonic life partner or a best friend. And I just guess I wish there was a ceremony for that. Because I still want to wear a really nice dress and have someone tell me I'm their person. So yeah, I kind of do wish somebody would do it with me. The ceremony, that is. Let's move on. On the whole list of things I don't have that I thought I would have by this point in my life, this is the only one that still has the capacity to upset me. I mean, I've had some snotty crying over this. 99% of the time these days, I'm fine. I mean, I'm 42 this year. You have to reach a point where you understand certain things aren't going to happen for you, and for me, this is one of them. But my God, every now and then that 1% really hurts. Especially because I worked in childcare for such a long time, and I'm not going to lie, I saw some examples of parenting that made me want to hurl myself off a cliff, because my goodness, they've popped out children, but I haven't, and wow. But yeah, I was always maternal from a really young age. I was one of those kids who, for a while, if you asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I'd be like, a mummy like my mummy. I had names picked out. I always thought I was going to be a young mum as well. I was like, I reckon by the time I'm about 25, I'll have a couple of kids. Nope. But, and there's going to be a but in all of these, I do have a nephew, and I think I'm a pretty good auntie, so all of my sort of mum skills that I assumed I'd have can become auntie skills, and I will focus on being the best Auntie Emma I could possibly be. And so because of him, I really genuinely can't complain about not having my own kids, because he is awesome and I still get to watch him grow up and be a part of his life. So, you know, can't complain, except for those times when I do. But we don't talk about them. Another thing I always thought I would be, as well as a mum, is a swan. Obviously not literally. If you've been a viewer of this channel for a long time, you'll know that when I was at secondary school, I was horrifically bullied. I don't mean a little bit like, I mean, it was so bad. I used to tell myself that I was going to become a swan. A bit like in the story of the ugly duckling. I was like, okay, I'm clearly hideous right now, and everybody likes to tell me this frequently, and it's destroyed my self-confidence, but never mind. I assumed that I would reach a point, whether that be the end of my teens or the beginning of my 20s, where suddenly I would blossom and become this beautiful creature that genuinely people would be like, when I walk down the street, and I just have that opportunity to be like, oh yeah, remember you used to pick on me? Bet you wish you hadn't. Yeah, that didn't happen either. Look, I am never going to win any beauty competitions, and there are always going to be things about me that don't fit society's standard of what an attractive woman should be. But the thing is, the older I get, and I mean this really genuinely, and if you're being bullied at school and you're watching this video, focus on this bit if nothing else, because the older I get, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. If you think I'm ugly, whatever. I probably don't find you attractive either, because you're the sort of person who would tell people they're ugly, and I can't imagine anything worse than being the kind of human that would just go to another person and be like,
you're unattractive in my eyes,
and think that person should, I don't know, do something about it or care what you think. Over the years, I have grown to like myself physically far more than I ever did when I was being bullied, because believe me, when you're being bullied to that extent and you're being told all the things about your facial features and your body that people think are gross, you don't like yourself very much because you've sort of been trained not to. But as you get older, you're like, actually, I like this about myself, and I like this about myself, and I don't care if you don't. More importantly, over the years, I have grown to like who I am, regardless of the outside packaging. I'm pleased to be me. And that's something that I wasn't sure I would ever be able to say, and being able to say it now is pretty cool. And of course, the irony is as well, the older you get, the more you look at old photos and you're like, I thought I was hideous, but I looked real good back then. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a very roundabout way is, hey bullies, you didn't win. Bye. I mean, I'm never gonna look like Audrey Hepburn, but the nice thing is, I genuinely think if she was around now, we would get on. And I'm happy with that. Yes, I am in my 40s and I am sitting in the bedroom that I've had since I was 16 in my parents' house. Yeah, that's probably quite sad and we should probably do something about that. But for a very long time, I've worked in very low paid jobs. And as we've mentioned, I'm not married, so there's not another income stream that I can fuse my savings with and buy a place together. So here we are. It's not like there haven't been opportunities or times when I've thought I was about to fly the nest. I mean, one day I will tell the story of the time I lost half a flat deposit because I was going to move to Bristol with someone and I'd paid my half of the flat deposit and she just decided not to. So we lost the flat and I lost her as a friend by choice. But yeah, I mean, I am obsessed with shows like Interior Design Masters. I love thinking about how I would decorate a space. I've got so many ideas for like a house of my own and what it would look like, and I would love to be able to be like, this is my house, and you know, have that feeling of a space that is mine. And obviously I'm probably very unlikely to ever be able to afford to live alone, and I'm not sure I would be good at living alone completely because, you know, I'm kind of a bit mad anyway and it would probably drive me further that way. But I'd love Leslie and I to have a house. We talk about it a lot and I think we'd have such a nice time living together. And you know, one thing that she said to me ages ago when I was having one of my brief moments of, why did I never have babies? She was like, a family doesn't necessarily just have to mean like someone you've married and had kids with. A family is what you make it. And I think of me and her as a family. If she's watching this, she might be like, ew, no. But I do. She's my family, damn it. So yeah, having a house together would be really nice. One day, I mean, I spend so much time on property websites. I just am so obsessed. And every now and then I'm like, okay, so imagine I won the lottery and I had like endless amounts of finances to spend. What about this house? And I start looking at houses for sale in the area and how I would redecorate them. And it's a real problem and I need to not do that because I have no money. But I have great parents and I am very lucky to have a very nice house that I live in, a safe roof over my head. I get on with my parents and it would be much worse if I couldn't afford to leave home and had parents who I didn't get on with, and yeah, that would be bad. Anyway, if I didn't live with my mum, it would take us far longer to binge watch all the shows we watch together. In conclusion, yes, there are going to be people who, if you've got this far into the video, will think I'm exceptionally annoying for just being like,
Eh, she's trying to see the positive in all the very many negatives in her life.
but I'm not trying to see a positive in a negative situation because my life is my life and I think it's a positive life. I'm not finding positives in negative situations. I'm just saying, here are some things that I thought I would have had. I don't have them, but actually it's fine. At the end of the day, I have a family who love me, friends, I have lots of different hobbies that I really enjoy, and a job where I get to be incredibly creative. And all of those things are worth something. All of those things are things to be pleased with. They are positives in my life without having to balance them against the things that I don't have that I thought I might. After all, if you want me to be really corny and end this in a schmaltzy way, life isn't about the things that you don't have. It's about remembering the things that you do. You can go and be sick now. Are there things that you thought you would have achieved by the point you're at in your life? Or are there things that you thought you'd have that you don't have? Can you balance that with stuff that you do have? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can click on my floaty head up there if you'd like to subscribe, and last week's video is over there. One thing that I do have in my life is this YouTube channel, so I'm going to go and edit this video. Talk to you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.